In the heart of the countryside, several caretakers and workers arrived at remote farms, each hoping for, a fresh start. Life had been tough in the city, with its noise and endless rush. The advertisements for farm work promised peace, quiet, and a chance to breathe. Each worker carrying a suitcase of dreams and a heart full of hope, stepped onto the fertile land, eager to begin anew. John, a tall man in his 30s, was the first to arrive. He had left behind a job in a factory that paid little and asked for too much. Maria, a young woman seeking independence, followed soon after, drawn by the idea of freedom under open skies. They were greeted by the farm owners, who seemed friendly and welcoming, offering hearty meals and warm rooms. The farms, nestled away from bustling towns, promised a simple life. The air was filled with the sweet scent of hay and freshly turned earth. Birds sang their morning songs, and the sun rose gently over the fields. To the newcomers, it felt like paradise, a place where troubles could be forgotten, and a new chapter in life could begin. Yet, as they settled into their roles, a sense of curiosity lingered. The workers exchanged stories in hushed tones, wondering about the lives of those who had come before them. But the farms held their secrets close, and the stories of past caretakers were whispered only by the wind. The farms were set far from the hustle of city life, surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests. Each farm was a world of its own, a small universe where nature ruled supreme. The families who owned these lands were as old as the trees, their roots deep and their ways traditional. They spoke softly and smiled easily, making the newcomers feel at home. Life on the farm was structured and calm. Days began at dawn, with the crowing of roosters and the gentle mooing of cows. The work was hard but honest, and the workers found satisfaction in the rhythm of planting, feeding, and harvesting. The simplicity of farm life was a balm for their weary souls, a welcome change from the chaos they had left behind. But as the sun set each evening, casting long shadows across the fields, the isolation of the farms became more pronounced. The silence was profound, broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the distant howl of a wolf. It was a silence that soothed, yet unnerved, a reminder that they were far from the comforts of modern civilization. The families seemed to enjoy this quiet life, speaking of the land with reverence and pride. They shared tales of bountiful harvests and long-standing traditions, grounding the workers in a sense of history and continuity. Yet beneath their words lay a mystery, an unspoken understanding that these farms held stories untold. Despite the warm welcome, the workers began to notice peculiarities that unsettled them. The food, though plentiful, often tasted strange, with spices and herbs they couldn't identify. The families insisted it was traditional, but the flavors lingered oddly on their tongues, leaving them uneasy. The smiles of the farm owners, initially comforting, sometimes felt too wide, too fixed. It was as if they were hiding something behind those pleasant expressions. There were rules, too. Rules that seemed unnecessary and strange, like the insistence on keeping certain doors locked and the peculiar routine of shutting off all lights by a specific hour. Maria, in particular, found the locked doors intriguing. One evening, she asked about them, but her questions were met with vague answers and a change of subject. John, on the other hand, noticed the way certain areas of the farm were always avoided, as if forbidden. These small details, dismissed as quirks at first, began to weave a web of suspicion. Warnings came in subtle ways, a hushed whisper, a glance exchanged between family members. The workers were advised to stay on their paths, to ignore sounds in the night, to mind their own business. It was all said with a smile, but the underlying message was clear. There were things they were not meant to know. As the days turned into weeks, the workers could no longer ignore the signs that something was amiss. One night, while returning from the fields late, John stumbled upon a peculiar sight. Near the old barn, he saw faint stains on the ground, dark and dried, leading to a rear door that was always locked. He shared his discovery with Maria, and together they vowed to uncover the truth. Their suspicions were further heightened by the stories of travelers who had passed through the area but never returned. Villagers spoke of strange lights seen during the dead of night and whispered of curses that plagued the lands. These tales, though told in jest, seemed to hold a kernel of truth. Maria, ever curious, decided to investigate further. She noted the odd behavior of the farm owners, their sudden silences when questions were raised. It was as if they were guarding a secret, one that could not be shared. She began to keep a journal, documenting every unusual occurrence, every odd remark. The more they uncovered, the more they realized that they were entangled in something sinister. The farm, with its serene facade, hid a dark heart. Rooms that were locked held secrets that begged to be released, and the smiles that greeted them each morning masked stories of fear and control. With each passing day, the workers felt an increasing sense of urgency. They were not just farmhands anymore. They were detectives on a dangerous path. The truth they sought was close, yet elusive, hidden behind layers of deception. The need to escape, to break free from the grip of the farm, became paramount. One night, the tension reached a breaking point. The workers gathered in secret, discussing their findings and fears. They realized they could not stay any longer. The risk was just too great. Maria, with her journal in hand, felt the weight of their discovery. She knew they had to act swiftly, for their safety depended on it. John took the lead, formulating a plan for their escape. They would wait for the cover of night, using the darkness as their ally. Their hearts pounded with fear and excitement, a mixture of dread and hope. But they knew they had no choice. Their lives depended on their courage. As the clock ticked towards midnight, the workers prepared to leave. The farm, once their refuge, now felt like a prison. They moved quietly, careful not to awaken the sleeping household. The path to freedom was fraught with danger, but they were determined to leave with their truth intact. The night was still and silent as the workers made their move. Their footsteps barely made a sound on the dirt path as they navigated through the shadows. The moon, hidden by clouds, offered little light, but they pressed on, driven by the urgency of their mission. Maria clutched her journal tightly, aware of its importance. It was their evidence, their truth, and leaving it behind was not an option. John led the way, his instincts guiding them towards the road that would lead them away from the farm and its dark secrets. They whispered words of encouragement to each other, bolstering their resolve. As they reached the edge of the property, a sudden noise froze them in their tracks. A branch snapped, echoing loudly in the stillness. But to their relief, it was only a deer, startled by their presence, darting into the woods. They let out a collective breath, grateful for the night's cover. Finally, with the farm behind them, the workers felt a sense of liberation. They had escaped, carrying with them the knowledge of what lay hidden beneath the farm's peaceful exterior. Their journey had been fraught with danger, but they emerged stronger, ready to share their story with the world. The workers' escape marked the beginning of a new chapter. They reached the nearest town, eager to share their story. The journal Maria had kept became pivotal, serving as a testament to their experience. The townspeople listened, their eyes wide with disbelief, as the workers recounted the eerie details of their time on the farm. Authorities were alerted, and an investigation ensued. But by the time officials arrived at the farm, the families were gone, leaving behind empty houses and fields. It was as if they had vanished into thin air, taking their secrets with them. The workers felt a mix of relief and frustration. They were free, but justice remained elusive. The farms, once thriving, stood silent and abandoned. The land, once full of life, seemed haunted by its past. The community was left with questions, and the workers became local heroes, their bravery a beacon for others who sought the truth. Though the crimes remained unsolved, the workers found solace in their freedom. They had faced their fears and emerged victorious, proving that courage could overcome even the darkest of secrets. Their story became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers that could lurk behind a veneer of tranquility. With time, the workers moved on, each finding their path in different corners of the world. Their experience had changed them, leaving an indelible mark on their souls. They carried the lessons learned with them, ever vigilant, aware that danger could hide in the most unexpected places. The farms, once symbols of hope, had revealed the darkness that lay beneath. The workers understood now that not everything was as it seemed, and that kindness could sometimes be a mask for sinister intentions. They had seen the reality behind the smiles, the truth behind the gentle words. The townspeople, too, were changed by the revelations. They became more cautious, more questioning of strangers and the stories they brought. The workers' tale served as a reminder that appearances could be deceiving, and that vigilance was necessary to protect against hidden threats. In the end, the farm's secrets became part of the local lore, a mystery that intrigued and warned future generations. The workers, once seeking refuge, had become the bearers of truth, their courage a testament to the power of honesty and the importance of speaking out against wrongs. The story of the farm served as a powerful reminder of the importance of honesty and transparency. The workers had learned the hard way that true kindness was not just a smile or a warm gesture, but an openness that invited trust and understanding. The silence they had encountered had been a facade, hiding the farm's dark truths. As they moved forward, the workers vowed to embody the values they had come to cherish: honesty, courage, and kindness. They understood that silence could be a powerful tool, used to protect or to deceive. It was a lesson they carried with them, guiding their interactions with others. The farms, with their dark past, became a symbol of resilience and the triumph of truth over deceit. The workers' story inspired others to speak out, to trust their instincts, and to value the power of honesty in building genuine relationships. In the end, the message was clear. Real kindness is honest, and sometimes silence hides the biggest secrets. The workers' journey was a testament to the strength found in truth, and the enduring belief that light could conquer even the darkest of places.